Good morning, friends. This is Teresa from Seed Sowing. How are you? I hope that you are prepared for the coming weather apocalypse. This should be interesting with wind chills down around 30 below. I hope you stay warm and safe, what come what may. So I wanted to take this video, my very first video, to introduce myself and tell you a little bit about mustard seed sowing. So if the video's a little rough around the edges, you'll know why, because it's my first time doing this. So let's get to it. I grew up a suburb of Chicago, and through a series of life events moved here to Rush County, Indiana about 5.5 years ago, where my husband and I steward this little slice of earth that God has gifted to us for the time that we are here. Chris is, after Jesus, Chris is the greatest gift that I have received in life. He loves me, he cares for me deeply, and he demonstrates that to me regularly through his sacrificial love, the grace that he lavishes on me, and his willingness to go along with and try some of these crazy ideas that I come up with. He supports me, he loves me, and I thank you, God, for him. I have a son and a daughter. One lives in Greenville and the other in Indianapolis, and they are living their best lives. We have 2 German Shepherds and a cat, Lizzie. We have 2 kittens that we're raising up to be mousers. We also have rabbits and chickens. And we have the occasional possum or raccoon or skunk that pass through. We've even seen fox and coyote and deer. We'll hear an owl from time to time. And we get hawks and all kinds of creatures, insects, creepy, crawly things. Yeah. I am a certified master gardener. I completed that course a couple of years ago, where I learned everything about gardening that I was doing wrong. And I'm still learning and growing, and been able to apply a lot of what I learned in what I do here on our homestead. I do garden. I wouldn't call it a large garden, mostly raised beds. There's one plot in the ground for the vining plants and tomatoes. I do strawberries as well, so look forward to those every year. There's nothing like homegrown strawberries. They are so delicious. I also grow herbs and spices, and use a lot of that for feeding the rabbits. I'm learning how to forage here on my property. I had a sick rabbit a couple of years ago, and healed her from her respiratory distress using dandelion and plantain here on our property, and then echinacea, which I had purchased, but I want to start growing this next year. And she's been healed and has given us several litters of kits since she was sick. So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful to be able to care for our animals and ourselves from what God has given us. I freeze, I dehydrate, I sew, I read. I'm a leader in Bible study fellowship. If you would like to be a part of an in-depth Bible study, it's available online and in person in multiple locations all across the world, really. I'll put the link to Bible Study Fellowship in the comments below. What else do? I love my church family. They are a dear group of people who love the Lord and serve Him well. And trying to think, what else do you want to know? I used to ride a motorcycle. Some of you may not have known about me. I had my own motorcycle, and I rode all the way to Idaho one year and back, and that was fun. Some days I really miss the wind in my face. But I'm in a different season in life right now. And I was doing a little bit of gardening when we lived in Hancock County, and I enjoyed it, but was really limited on space and how much I could do. And we started talking about moving to the country. I wanted to raise chickens, and the thought of having a bigger garden was very attractive to me as well. So here we are. Well, we like it. We get to steward this land that God has given to us and give back to families that are in need. We raise our chickens for eggs and for meat. Some of the best chicken. Oh gosh, tender and juicy. We'll be doing a couple more meat flocks next year. And then the rabbits, we raise for meat also, sell some of it. Some of it I save, keep for ourselves, and make sausage or feed to our dogs. We raw feed them a little bit. What else do I do around here? It's hard to think. I make my own tooth powder. I actually had to use real toothpaste here a couple years ago. I was out of town and I forgot to bring my tooth powder, and I tell you that toothpaste about gagged me. I couldn't stand the taste of it. And I just had the best checkup at my dentist that I've ever had. The hygienist barely had to do any scraping on my teeth. I was really tickled about that. I make my own dishwasher powder. My dishes are clean. They sparkle. I'm happy with it. And, you know, I do other things around here. One of my philosophy in a lot of what I do around here is to do things as naturally as I possibly can. And that includes a new endeavor that I started recently, which is soap making. A lot of people like to use the micas and the lab-made colorants for their soaps, and I'm working on learning how to use natural colorants, such as tomato powder from tomatoes that I have grown myself that made a soft, pale orange bar of soap, and parsley made a green, kind of a medium green bar of soap. So I'm working on fine-tuning those colorants and even adding some more natural colorants to my repertoire as I get further into soap making. I made a batch of soap earlier this week that is colored with activated charcoal, and activated charcoal is ground coconut husks. So this is a natural product, and depending upon the percentage of activated charcoal that you use in the batch, it can be anything from a pale light gray to something very black. This is probably a medium black. It didn't come out quite as dark as I was hoping, but that's part of the learning process. And this also has lard in it, which is something I've just started working with. A previous batch of soap that I made that has lard in it is the creamiest and bubbliest batch of soap that I have made so far. So I'm anxious to give this a try after it's had a chance to cure for a few weeks. So, like I said, soap making is something that I've taken up just this year, and I really enjoy the creative aspect of that. So how did mustard seed sowing come to be? About 12 to 15 years ago, I had a sewing, S-E-W-I-N-G, a sewing business where I did alterations, anything from hemming pans, replacing a button, replacing a zipper, which I did not like doing that because I could never seem to get it just right, just get the zipper just straight like it was supposed to be, to altering bridal gowns. And I really, really enjoyed working on the bridal gowns, seeing the bride's face when she put the dress on after the alterations had been done, and, you know, that culmination of that dream that she's had all of her life of what she would look like on her wedding day and her eyes sparkling. That really warmed my heart. And that business, you know, eventually faded with time, and we moved here to Rush County, and I started to garden on a larger scale and started trying some more, started trying some things that I'd never done before. An example might be making bread. I've made bread in the past, but it never came out the way that I really wanted it to or I thought it should be. So I started back in January of this year and challenged myself to make bread for the entire year. And so that has caused me to try several different recipes. Transparent here, I use a bread machine. I've tried several different recipes, and I've made rye bread, wheat bread, white bread, some fantastic yeast rolls. And here we are, it's December 22nd, 2022, and I've made all of our bread this year since the middle of January, and plan to continue that into the new year. I know exactly what's going into the bread. I add things to the bread to make them more nutritious. Spinach powder, desiccated liver. I'll use honey instead of sugar. Like I said, my philosophy is to do things as naturally as I can. And I got to sneak those vitamins in, especially for my husband, wherever I can. So things started to grow here, started to happen. Looks like I might have maybe a business starting, not real sure. But the thought's been wiggling around in the back of my mind. What am I going to call this? And I remembered the mustard seed sewing, the needle and thread sewing. And I'm like, well, with one small alteration, pun intended, I could call this mustard seed sowing, SOWING, sowing seeds of faith, hope, and love. And so that's where mustard seed sowing came from. I love those verses in Matthew 17, 20 and 21, where it talks about if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, mountains can be moved. That's encouraging and hopeful to me. And who doesn't need some hope and encouragement in their life? Do you? Do you need some hope and some encouragement? Turn to Jesus. Put your faith and trust in him. Whatever situation you're facing, turn to him, and he will give you that peace that surpasses all understanding. And if you don't know Jesus as your Lord and Savior, read the Gospel of John. Let me know in the comments so I can be praying for you. If you have a prayer need, put them in the comments also, and I will pray for you. So I have plans for 2023. Like I said, I'm going to continue the bread making endeavor, and I'm thinking about the possibility of offering bread on my Facebook page. I'm tossing around the idea of making a website. We'll see. I would like to grow the soap making aspect, learn more about that. Something new that I tried that I made just yesterday that I hope to be offering to you in the very near future is a scrub, a body scrub. And this one that I made is brown sugar vanilla. This smells amazing. Oh my goodness, this smells so good. So I like a sugar scrub because after I finished a time of butchering, my hands smell nasty. Even though I wear gloves, that smell still gets in, and I know that a good scrub will help take that smell off. Or if I spend some time out in the garden and I've got dirt ground into my skin, a scrub will help to remove that dirt. And so this is really simple. It is brown sugar, coconut oil, vitamin E, and just a little bit of vanilla paste. And I'm going to talk about vanilla paste in a future video. The best part of this, though, I can eat it. I can eat it. Those are all natural ingredients. Now, if my hands were dirty, I wouldn't be putting my fingers in here and then popping it in my mouth to eat it. But since I just made this yesterday and I'm just sitting here talking to you, I felt comfortable doing that. But look for this on a Facebook page near you. So that's about all that I was going to share with you today. Thinking about maybe doing this on a weekly basis. We'll see what life brings. Thanks for watching. Merry Christmas. Happy birthday, Jesus. And I'll talk to you again soon. God bless.